Thanks for tuning in to watch The Ordinary Filmmaker. It's Monday, December the 13th, 2021, and I've got an update for you on the Canon R5c. According to Canon Rumoured, we are definitely 100%, well, okay, it's a rumor, but it's a definite maybe. We're getting an announcement in Q1 of 2022. Now, initially, the rumor did say it was going to be January, but Craig does say, well, look, it's going to be Q1 2022 that we're going to get an announcement sometime between January, February, and March, and then it will be available for purchase sometime shortly thereafter. Now, I get it. Things can change with everything that's going on in the world last year and this year, supply shortages. But at this point, here we are, December the 13th, and we're getting confirmation. Again, this is a CR2, so it's coming from known sources. We are getting the R5c announced in 2021 in the first quarter, maybe January. He can't confirm, but I would start paying close attention to this channel. Subscribe so you don't miss any information. So what does the R5c have? Well, based on what we've heard before, the R5c is essentially the Canon EOS R5 in a video-centric body. Everything's focused on the video, so we've got active cooling, and we've got a slightly larger body. So we can record unlimited 8K up to 30 frames per second, so that's 24, 25, and 30 frames per second in Cinema Raw Lite, MP4, and XVAC. Did I say that right? XF AVC. It's going to have Canon Log 3. As far as Canon Log 2 goes, that's still up in the air. That's still being discussed. But Canon Log 3, I really do enjoy it. I think it's so much easier to grade, whether it's the shadows, the highlights, or the midtones. I just find it it's so much easier. It's such a relief. Going from Canon Log 1 to Canon Log 3, I no longer felt like I was fighting with the camera. Same card slots, unfortunately, so a CF Express and SD card slot. But what else? Well, let's take a look here. Time code is one other thing we're getting with the R5c. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have all the stills capabilities of the Canon EOS R5, so the same dynamic range, the same ISO range, and of course it's going to have that same 45 megapixel sensor. This is really, it's kind of like what Sony's done with the a7S III. They came out with the FX3, which is a video-centric version of the a7S III, which was already a video-centric camera, so I'm not sure why that is the case, but here, the Canon R5 has always been aimed at photographers, at stills, so to come up with a video-centric version of it certainly does make sense. And it's something I would have considered buying, July of last year when it came out, July 30th, I believe. Of course, it also has a full-size HDMI port. Using the micro SD port is frustrating. Canon knows this is the case, that they actually give you an adapter with the camera if you plan on using HDMI. And every time I shoot for this channel, I'm using the Ninja 5 external recorder with an Angelbird Atom X SSD, and I always have that adapter plugged into the side because it's pretty flimsy, and if you didn't use it, if I didn't use it, probably by now I'd be sending my R5 in for a repair because I would have mucked up the HDMI port somehow, not necessarily through my own use, but through normal use. And again, providing that adapter tells you one thing there. What the LCD is pushed back a little further. Let me read the comment here. The LCD has been moved further back to accommodate the cooling fan, so this likely means it won't recess into the body like the Canon R5. The only question that I have that you might be having too is, how loud is this fan going to be? Now, hopefully it isn't too loud, and hopefully we have the option of turning it on or off. That would be really, really helpful. 8K video, 24, 25, and 30 frames per second, Canon Log 3, unlimited recording. And this is a big deal. If you live in Canada, the northern United States, northern Europe, the Canon R5 works pretty good most of the year, but if you live in the subtropics or the tropical regions of the planet, the R5, if you're going to be shooting video, just isn't going to do the job. It's going to overheat too much. It's great as a stills camera, but as soon as you flip over to video, good luck getting any more than a few seconds, if at all that's possible at all. I've talked to many people in the tropics that have bought the R5, and they said, look, as far as stills go, great, but if you try to shoot a bunch of stills and then flip over to video, you're just not going to get much time. It's very hot. You're dealing with temperatures north of 40 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it makes it very, very hard for that camera to cool down. It just doesn't work well. So the R5c in those cases work really, really well. What did I miss? The multi-purpose hot shoe found in the EOS R3. That's also included. It's going to have the Digic X processor, so same as what's found in the R5. the R6, the 1DX Mark III, the R3. There might be some minor changes to it, but it's essentially the same processor. And I think that's pretty much it. So again, the rumored specs haven't really changed from the last update we got from Canon Rumors, but what seems to be really exciting here is every time we get an update on the Canon R5c, it keeps throwing a spotlight on the first quarter of 2022 for an announcement. It might be January, it might not, but I would stay tuned. I'd say come the second week of January is usually when we start getting some announcements, and sometimes we get really big announcements. Last year, or sorry, it's not last year yet, still 2021. Earlier this year, we got the Sony Alpha 1 in the second week. The year before, we got the Canon 1DX Mark III, again in the second week. We usually don't have anything while CES is going on. It's usually right after that. So keep your eyes open as early as January for any potential announcements, not only from Canon, but Sony, Panasonic, with the GH6, Pentax, you name it. We could be, or even Olympus. No, it's not Olympus now, it's OM Solutions. I'm getting mixed up. The name changes so many times. So subscribe. Not only does it help this channel grow, but as soon as I hear anything, I'm going to get a video out there and you'll get the information firsthand. I'm doing my best to keep things. I was actually getting ready to go out for a walk. I had my coat on. I thought, you know, I better check. I haven't checked this afternoon yet. And as soon as I checked, nothing on Nikon Rumors. I checked Canon Rumors and boom, there it is, R5c CR2. And the real point of this video is that that timeline for the R5c is condensing. It's condensing on Q1. It doesn't look like we're going to get an announcement outside of Q1. My guess is sometime between the second week of January and the end of February is when we're likely to get an announcement, and that corresponds with the end of CES and before CP+. I don't know if CP+ will take place this year. It didn't last year, but we'll just have to wait and see. So what do you think? Are you getting stoked up? Are you really interested in purchasing the Canon R5c? This camera coming out about a year and a half after the Canon R5 Mark I. I'm going to start calling it the Mark I because we're getting to that territory where we're going to start looking towards the future. We might start getting some speculation and rumors or even conjecture on what the R5 Mark II would have involved in it. And if we got the R5c, I think that puts less pressure on Canon in the Mark II to improve recording times in 8K or 4K, 4K 120, 4K 60. That's at least my guess. It doesn't mean that Canon can't make an improvement. The thermals in the R5 are terrible. All it takes is another small piece of metal that's not going to cost more than 10 to 25 cents, arrange things slightly differently, and we could easily get unlimited 8K, 24, 25, and 30 frames per second at room temperature in the current body. So it's all possible with some slight thermals. And you know what? I wouldn't mind paying a little extra for that. Well, we've already paid a little extra for the R5. It's about, what, $300 or $400 more than what the 5D Mark IV listed for initially. I think it was, what, $32.99 or $32.99 to $34.99. Anyhow, I want to get outside. I want to enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Not only does it help this channel grow, but I take it as a pat on the back. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.